Here we are in the Midlands, the home of Northampton Saints, the home of the Cobblers as well. But tonight it's very much rugby union that is on our menu. It's pre-season time with just a week to go until the start of the Gallagher Premiership and of course the Guinness Pro 14. We're delighted to be bringing you this live stream to the Warrior Nation of Northampton Saints against Glasgow Warriors, and we're live from Franklin's Gardens. My name's Nick Heath, great to have your company with us, and well, we've had a little bit of rain so far this evening here in Northampton, and well, Glasgow have come down here knowing that they want to kick on as well from the win that they had against Harlequins last week, of course looking brilliant there in blowing the London side away. And well, Northampton Saints, they were the side that underperformed in, of course, the Aviva Premiership last season, so they're really looking to get back to winning ways. They welcome back the likes of Dylan Hartley, who we're hoping to be able to see out in the field a little later on. For Glasgow Warriors, well, plenty of internationals in their side as well, and well, we know that they won the most games in the Pro 14 in terms of their conference last season. Didn't quite manage to make it past that semi-final stage, but they'll be hoping that a good pre-season can build them into a good start of the season. So let's find out how head coach Dave Rennie is feeling ahead of this one getting started. Well, Dave Rennie, thanks for joining us as we build up to kick-off here. A chance to reflect for a moment on the win against Harlequins, and did you see that coming in the nature that it did?
Well, not really. We played pretty well, and we had a few young men out there with a point to prove. They got an opportunity to front, and so we were really happy. It was a good performance, but what we know is Harlequins will get a lot better. Paul's only been here a short time, and I'm sure they'll make a lot of change over time. And but yeah, look, we're really pleased. I guess with the continuity that we're able to play with.
Focusing on this week then, and a chance to bring back some big international players and a good half-back combination, because with just a week to go until the start of the Pro 14, it's time to get down to business, isn't it?
Yeah, there's obviously we've had a lot of international guys missing last week. We're going to filter in about 7 or 8 of them tonight. There's a few more to come back next week, and a few others who've had off-season injuries and operations and that sort of thing to come back in after that. So we're not looking to rush everyone in a hurry. We've got pretty good depth, but it's nice. Those boys are looking forward to their first sit out tonight.
Chris Boyd's the man here, of course, and you know a bit about him from his days at the Hurricanes.
Yeah, no, I mean, we both originate from Wellington, so we played a bit of footy against each other as younger men. And when I was coaching Wellington A, he was coaching Wellington B, and of course we've coached against each other at super level. So look, they've done well. He's a good man. He's a very good coach, and I'm sure he'll make a difference here.
For the Warrior Nation that are tuning in then to the live stream this evening, what can they expect from this side? What do you want to see from them first and foremost?
What we know is that Northampton will ask some questions of us physically. We know long term, if we've got aspirations in our continent in Europe, then we're going to have to be really good at dealing with the big side. So physicality is going to be really important. We've done a lot of work on clarity, and hopefully we can just go out and play tonight. Defensively, we've still got some strides to make, and if we can get line speeds and play off some errors, then hopefully we can challenge them. So we just want to be patient when we've got the ball on hand and build from there.
Let's hope the boys go well.
Cool, thanks Chris.
Cheers. Well, good to hear from Dave Rennie, and of course interesting that there will be that match-up between him and Chris Boyd, given their previous in Super Rugby, of course. And delighted to say that joining us for commentary on this one is former Scottish international Rory Lawson. Rory, thanks very much for joining us. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Nick. Yeah, no, looking forward to seeing two sides who are coming into this game full of confidence. So we should have a cracking game.
Yeah, we should. All right, let's try and have a look at the teams then, as the players just vacate the field. And for Northampton Saints, we'll see him in a minute on the second page, but Dylan Hartley is the major headline, pulling on the black, green and gold for the first time in quite some time, with front row partner Alex Waller. Well, there he is as the club's co-captain, leading out the side from the start. Having notched up 5 tries already in 2 matches this pre-season, hooker James Fish joins Waller and Ben Franks in the front row, while Saints pack, well, it's not short of power and height, as David Rivens and Courtney Laws line up in the engine room. Saints boasting a back row full of international talent: James Haskell, Henrik Brousseau and Tamana Harrison. And then you've got Samoa's RC Tuala lining up at fullback. The halfbacks Kobus Reinach and Dan Bigger. Great to see him turning out for Northampton Saints. They'll start together for the second time this pre-season campaign, while Piers Francis and Rory Hutchinson line up again in the centres, with Ken Peacey and Tom Collins looking to seize their opportunity to impress on the wings. And just looking at those replacements, it is of course pre-season time, and there will be plenty of them alongside Hartley on the bench, the likes of Mikey Hayward, Api Ratuna Urara, Jamie Gibson, and well, a couple of sons of former Saints, James Grayson, Ollie Slightholme. And we look forward to seeing what they've got to offer. And Glasgow Warriors, well, head coach Dave Rennie has made 13 changes from the side that blew Harlequins away in Perth last Saturday, with 19 internationals included in this 30-man squad. Gibbons and Wilson start in the back row alongside Rob Harley, who was a substitute last weekend. International duo Jamie Batty and George Turner are called into the front row alongside Darcy Ray. And it's Horn and Hastings combining at 9 and 10, just as they did for Scotland on this year's summer tour. Tommy Seymour starting on the wing, another one of those internationals back, with last weekend's man of the match, Nico Matavalu, starting on the other side, and Rory Jackson starting at 15. Sam Dunbar shifts from 13 to 12 with Sam Johnson shifts from 13 to 12 with Alex Dunbar coming in at outside centre. On the bench, and plenty of names to look forward to seeing as well. The likes of Nick Grigg and DTH Vandermeer included. Got such a try-scoring record with Canada, and the likes of Andrew Davidson announced this week, having joined on a short-term deal from Newcastle Falcons. Very much looking forward to this one. And Rory Lawson mentioned it in my introduction. Of course, Glasgow Warriors, the side that had the most wins in the Pro 14 last season, when it came down to those playoffs, didn't quite have enough to get past the likes of the Scarlets and make their way to meet Leinster. But they're a side that like winning, and they do it pretty often.
Yeah, they are, and I have to say that Dave Rennie did a very good job last season, coming in without really having a pre-season. I think that's the difference that we might see with Glasgow Warriors this season. Dave Rennie has had a full pre-season with his squad. He's got to know his players that much better. A number of the players have been away on tour with Scotland, but equally, and as importantly, a number of the internationalists have had a bit of a summer off, some time to be able to refresh, recover, get a full pre-season under their belts ahead of a big season for club and country. Yeah,
there's a sense of optimism north of the border, isn't there? What with it sort of all starts around a Calcutta Cup win against England, and then it builds through club form for the likes of the Warriors, and then a decent summer tour as well. So things are looking not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's a measured optimism. I think Gregor Townsend's very clear that when Scotland are good, they're very, very good. When Scotland are off the boil, then they're vulnerable like any team. When you come up against top level teams, whether internationally or at club level, if you've just got a couple of chinks in your armoury, or you're not quite on point, you're left vulnerable. And that's what Glasgow and Scotland found out on a few occasions last season, but there's plenty to be optimistic about.
Well, Franklin's Gardens is a historic enough ground, as I'm sure many fans watching will appreciate. They've had a bit of an upgrade to the Carlsberg stand, which is just opposite our commentary position. And, well, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? The surface is looking pretty good as well, almost like a putting green down there.
Oh, it's a fantastic ground to come and play rugby. It's one whereby you come away from home and you know you're going to have a really great track. I have to say, I didn't win that many times here, but at the same time, you come here and you really enjoy the atmosphere. It's a knowledgeable crowd, a passionate crowd, and it's a really great crowd tonight for a pre-season game.
Yeah, we've got two of the stands looking pretty decent, and well, they're a loyal sort down here. They will have made sure that they've got the Friday night in the diary. It is the last of the pre-season games for everybody as well. As you can just see a few of the Saints faithful in the corridor there. Of course, no more Jim Mallender at the helm. It is Chris Boyd, who came across from the Hurricanes over the summer in terms of Northampton Saints, and had the chance to speak to Chris Boyd earlier in the week. He is a typically laid-back Kiwi, not too dissimilar from a certain Dave Rennie. And just a few moments ago I was walking pitch side, the two of them sharing a laugh and a joke. They know each other very well. It'll be interesting to see how the rivalry goes in this little pre-season number.
Very much so, and Chris Boyd obviously comes in at the top of the tree with Alan Dickens, Sam Vesty, Phil Dowson, all guys who have played at the very top level. Beneath him, Matt Ferguson as well, coming in as scrum coach. New coaching group, so important days for that group in developing and understanding more about their team.
Well, here they come then, and it's Glasgow Warriors who are first out of the shed. And of course it's all about co-captains. Both of these sides, we've got the likes of Ryan Wilson and Callum Gibbons named as co-captains for Glasgow Warriors, and then it's Alex Waller and Dylan Hartley for Northampton Saints. Here come the home side then. Waller leading them out. Not had confirmation that there will be an entire shift of 15 at second half. That's what you see in some pre-seasons. Certainly had the good fortune of catching Saracens against Ospreys last night, another one of the Pro 14 clubs, and the Saracens made a few changes, but it was a wholesale 15 change at half-time for Ospreys, and well, with Dylan Hartley looking to lead out the side in the second half, we may see similar from Northampton Saints. Glasgow, we're expecting, might be a little bit more horses for courses, a few more tactical changes as the game goes on. It's Northampton Saints against Glasgow Warriors. We're live on the Warrior Nation. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in. The likes of these live streams across the world, Rory Lawson. And we're underway. First job for the Saints is to receive the kick.
Not held.
Our referee for this one is Christoph Ridley, assisted by Anthony Woodthorpe and Lionel Spooner.
There's no contest there, let go.
And Rory Jackson is looking to get himself underneath the high ball, or he's just slightly spilled it backwards, but managed to get some secure ball, and it's away from Horn, and they've looked to try and play the long one over the top here, straight into the hands of Turner. Had a good summer, George Turner, and now it's away. Crashing in is Peterson. Glasgow looking to try and find some rhythm as Northampton Saints put the pressure on in midfield, but they've managed to maintain possession, and now Adam Hastings, he's put an awful lot of air on that. Just inviting Tuala forwards, the home fans liking how cleanly Tuala was able to take it, and now Reinert gets it away. Looking to try and bring it onto the gain line, and Courtney Laws has found a gap right through the middle. Playing alongside his English counterpart in James Haskell now, of course, in Northampton Saints colours, having moved from Wasps. Glasgow come out of the line. That's good defensive work. Trying to cut down the options before they opened up too much. Bigger, with the little shift, tried to step through. And Bigger stayed down here for Northampton Saints as they try and put a bit of width on it. And Glasgow Warriors need to make sure they've got enough numbers over on that far side to cope with the pressure. Reinert, as we see Piers Francis bundle backwards out of the ruck. Laws, well, he stuttered into that short run, and
sorry, lads.
we have a stoppage. We know Dan Bigger is one of those players that likes to get involved in the physical stuff, but seeing him on the deck this early on is not a great sight.
Yeah, concern for Chris Boyd and his coaching staff, and that the medics are on, obviously, to see to Dan Bigger, who was hit hard by Greg Peterson. He actually, it was a really nice show and go. Went through a half gap, offloaded to Waller, and I expect to see him pop up for the next phase, but he just stayed down, and you saw Christoph Ridley, the referee, signal a head injury, so the medics will be very careful just to make sure that he's okay and take the time. It looks, I've just seen one of the coaching staff signal a change at this stage, so probably an HIA.
Yeah, that's certainly what you would expect. He hasn't moved an awful lot. We'll just see, he goes into the tackle there. Doesn't seem to be too much in that.
It's really innocuous, isn't it?
He's just stayed down there.
Sorry, say that again.
Now Bigger is moving. And he's sat up. If there is any suggestion he's lost consciousness, let's see if there's anything in this, Rory. Well, nothing that our camera caught anyway. It's almost as if something's happened once play moved away.
I was certainly looking out for Greg Peterson coming over the top as a tall man, second rower, come over the top. I thought he might have connected with the jaw or something, but it was all very fair. You can see Dan Bigger there just taking his time to come off the field. He'll go and be assessed, and I think all the Northampton fans will be very keen to see him back out.
He just momentarily touched the back of his head there, so I wonder whether, it might have been a glancing knee that's come through possibly. Every precaution being taken, and quite right as well. Welshman departs. James Grayson on in his place.
Set.
Two front rows have gone down. Ridley's happy for play to go on. Reinach plays a little shorter ball up for Francis. Haskell, good low chop tackle in from Turner.
Good reload.
Reinach again to Laws. Glasgow trying to get themselves in a position to get down and compete for that ball, but at the minute Northampton Saints are doing a good enough job of protecting it when they get tackled. Warriors looking to try and stop the threat as Tuala goes a little closer. Jackson with the tackle. Now they go back again.
Back you go.
Well, the Warriors players getting themselves in the way there. A little bit of intelligent slowing down of the ball momentarily. But this is how close they are. Little dummy to the right. Grayson gives it quickly. They might have hands here if they can get the ball away. It's loose to Haskell onto the wing, and James Haskell's going to score his first try for Northampton Saints. It was a solid enough job by the home side to suck in the blue defenders.
Just the building of pressure. It was that man Haskell who got onto the end of the pass, but it was a simple run in for him at the end. It was a aggressive, fairly blunt attack, just really direct stuff until this came. There's Francis with the quick hands, quickly there out off the back of it from Rory Hutchinson, did really well. And then Tom Collins, whether he meant to give that miss pass or not, went past Tuala, and Haskell with an easy run in slides it in the corner on this slippery surface. But good handling, good catch and give, early pre-season stuff from Northampton Saints, quality execution.
The threat was there, wasn't it? Warriors knew defensively that it needed to be a man and ball hit, and Hutchinson did well enough to get that ball away, and fortunately the risk wasn't rewarded defensively speaking. Grayson's not been able to add the extras.
Yeah, they were just one man down defensively, Glasgow, and it meant they had to shoot out of line. They had to leave Haskell on the outside. You see the line speed. There's Johnson jumping. Hastings is trying to cover off. Tommy Seymour's had to jam in on the outside, and then it just becomes a 3-on-2. Hastings actually has Collins. Jackson has Tuala, but the ball across the front. Haskell's in the corner.
From the restart then. Ball taken in by Ken Pesey.
Let go. Don't hold on to play.
Just out of your shot. Saints are losing another man. We've already seen Dan Biggott leave the field.
Good timing.
Hutchinson, in getting that ball away, has taken a bit of a knock, so he is off the field.
Backwards.
Warriors get onto the ball. It's a little bit loose. Roy Jackson's got some tidying up to do. He's also got Alex Waller for company, but as you would expect or hope, Roy Jackson manages to get away from the front rower. Now Reinach, that's a long pass for Tom Collins to have to run onto, but run onto it he does well, and it's sent Warriors scurrying back. Tommy Seymour with a lot of work to do under pressure on his own line. Needs to get the support there to help him secure it, which he does. Now there's a little bit of room on the right side as the Warriors come out defensively with ball in hand, and they've kept it alive. Now
they're here to play, aren't they?
Yeah, are there a couple of gaps in the Saints defensive line here to be exploited around the fringes of the breakdown? Warriors penalty.
This play here.
Saints not rolling away, and they've gone with the quick tap. Loose ball over the top. Were Northampton Saints back 10? That's the question. Referee seems happy enough. And now they're going with the break. And Horn's got himself. And he's got support on the right from Matavalu. Matavalu has got one man to beat. It's a really solid tackle from Cobus Reinach. And here we go with Hastings. He's looking for all the options round and about. Eventually decides that taking it into James Haskell was the right one. And then Ryan Wilson crashes onto it. Pick and go round the corner from Turner. Fast tempo from Glasgow to now get up to the Northampton Saints 22. This will give them a little bit more hope.
Now you're out.
Haskell in there making a nuisance of himself.
You're not bound now.
Solid drive and tries to get through from Cummings. Did that go forward?
Thanks, lads. I've seen it.
Yes, it did. Frustration for Warriors, but decent yards to get up the field.
Brilliant stuff, and all comes from George Horn and his energy and his fitness within this game to try and drive the pace. And there'll be you can see a number of guys hands on hips at the moment, breathing in as much oxygen as they can, because that was a long bit of play, a high tempo piece of play. Saints putting Glasgow under a lot of pressure inside their own 22, but Glasgow, as I said, are here to play. George Horn really quick around the fringes, got away, and I think if Matawalu had come left, it was a 2-on-1 against Heinrich Brusso, and I would have backed Matawalu to finish that one off, but he came on the inside, just gave the covering Saints defence an opportunity to be able to make that last gasp tackle.
Crouch.
And just an unfortunate knock on from George Horn at the end. He was tripped up, came down on the ball, ball went forward, Saints breathe again.
Pick up from the back from Tamana Harrison. Oh, and that's a lovely little short line, and Saints are breaking away here.
Not on the ball, never on
in the middle of the park, options either side. They break off to the right.
Release. Advantage. No clear release.
Reinach waits.
Slowing the ball down.
Back through. I was about to call the break by Luther Burrell before I checked my notes to see if he was in the lineup, because he wasn't on the one I got earlier. But I've double checked the team sheet in front of me, and of course he's out there. Of course it was him.
Just to confuse us.
And he was late. He's a late addition to the party, and well, in for Rory Hutchinson, and straight into a decent break.
Simple attacking play as well. It came off good scrum. Timana Harrison pick off the base.
Hold that space.
Managed to compromise Adam Hastings at 10 and just create a little gap on Sam Johnson's inside shoulder.
Fair contest.
He was straight through Luther Burrell.
Burrell.
Off feet now, Blue, let go.
Reinach. Courtney Law's looking bright in the opening exchanges, but he's gone for a roll or two too many there to try and hold on to possession. Doesn't like the referee's decision, but looks to me a pretty good one.
Important now, Glasgow, just to try and get themselves into this game with a really solid set piece. They like to play high tempo throughout, and as you can see, they're playing from everywhere, but at the moment, Northampton Saints, a couple of possessions now, have just managed to find a couple of gaps in the defence, a couple of clean breaks that, had they been slightly sharper, they might have finished. Important Glasgow now get a good phase of play under their belts.
Yeah, Saints have exploited that little ball on the shoulder a couple of times, haven't they? And it's an area where Glasgow need to make sure they're tighter on that support tackle. Saints have nicked it. Mikey Hayward managing to... in fact, it was Dave Ribbons. Apologies, just getting his hand away.
In line. Numbers, please.
And you touched on it at the start of the commentary. Two absolute giants in the second row for Northampton. Ribbons and Law, 6'8", 6'7". Big targets to get past.
Peterson and Cummings. Well, they get the lines right at the line out that time. Cummings brings it down. Member of the Warriors senior squad ahead of last year's campaign.
Good.
And now it's played out the back. That's a nice little ball back inside from Hastings. And now Warriors have got some open ground in front of them. Look for the ball wide out to the right.
Advantage, knock on.
Tommy Seymour would have wanted it. Tom Collins got his hand in the way, but that's a knock-on advantage. So Warriors can still keep coming, and it's with the Australian Peterson.
Good steal there,
going in for
legal, it. No advantage for the knock-on.
No advantage, says the referee, as you can hear. And that was a lovely line and a great break from Ryan Wilson.
Yeah, encouraging signs there. You see there, he's on the inside ball from Hastings. He's looking on the inside. He's got George Horn there, but actually Northampton. Look at Collins in the number 11 jersey for Saints. Just getting in that gap between Ryan Wilson and Tommy Seymour. Rory Jackson coming up on the outside. Collins did really well to manage to get in between that pass. Got his hand to it, went forward, but he saved a certain try.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, what you can't see on that run as well from Wilson is, although they're looking for that inside ball, Saints just out of the shot had 2 men at the back. You can see that Tuala was one of them and PC was there as well, so that's why the ball couldn't be delivered to George Horn, despite on first viewing that looking like Wilson had ignored the option inside.
Yeah, those are the sort of things that sometimes go unnoticed. It's that effort when you are weak and when you have been compromised to try and shut it down, the scramble defence that saves so many points if you do it well. I know it's still early days in this game, just over 10 minutes in, but a couple of long phases of play, high tempo, and for these guys, you've got to imagine a lot of them it's their first run out.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Pulls away from Horn. Options here to really pull out the stops in a bit of line attack. The numbers flood round. They look to try and go back the same way, but Horn was scragged at the base. He looks for the appeal, but well, he had both of his hands on the ball, so I'm not sure he's going to get too much out of the referee for that. And oh goodness me, he's given him a yellow card. Well, I don't know if that's a zero tolerance on any back chat over a decision.
He's coming up to me.
That was back chat. That was back chat. It was
directly at me.
Clearly, Christoph Ridley made it very clear.
Yeah.
I think there may have been a bit of language in there as well, because we've just heard Mr. Ridley say, "I'm mic'd up. It's going to be heard. I can't ignore it." So, well, George Horn into the sin bin. Not ideal for Glasgow, because he was working well with Adam Hastings in terms of keeping that tempo high.
Certainly was. Courtney Laws means business tonight. It was him who identified the threat of Horn, looking back to go down the blind side, and he'd shut that gate, turned the ball over, obviously frustrated George Horn, and he couldn't keep his mouth shut on that occasion.
Tom Collins comes in off that left wing. Penalty Glasgow Warriors. Got himself isolated. Christoph Ridley's not standing for very much this evening.
Callum Gibbons, the co-captain, straight over the top of that ball there, did really well. Just half a yard isolated the Northampton Saints player, and Gibbons so quick over the top of it. He's a real powerhouse over the top of the ball, tough to shift off it.
We'll try and get you some news of those who've departed. I don't think we're going to be
I'll
seeing
find out
Dan
numbers.
Bigger again.
They've been clear up to now.
He's only lasted a couple of
7.
minutes, but there may have been an HIA. There certainly looked like there might have been a loss of consciousness, but he is sat down below us, so it looks like his evening may well be over. But what a chance here for Glasgow. Turner gets the ball in. He's going to get to the back of this maul and get it back, which he does. But they're going to need to engage first gear here, and they haven't quite yet.
Please stop shouting.
There's a little bit of movement. Not going anywhere terribly fast. Is Matavalu going to have to work at scrum half here? Tommy Seymour has come across from the right, and he's at first receiver. They're going to try something special here. Oh, and it hasn't worked because Sam Johnson couldn't hold on to it. But it was an early tackle on the centre. Former Queensland Red. And it's earned the Warriors a penalty. These pre-season games aren't the sort of matches where you see too much going for the posts when the penalties are awarded. We eventually saw one late in the game between Saracens and Ospreys last night. We came to the conclusion that perhaps it's as much a rehearsal about game management sometimes as it is about trying to score tries. So, but we hope we're not going to see too much of that tonight.
I don't think so, not with these two teams.
Ball is down. Can they get a little bit more accurate now?
Out now, out now.
Scott Cummings is demanding it to be driven on towards here. Matavalu. Well, now it's away. It wasn't the cleanest of passes. Hastings, plenty of pressure on Alex Dunbar,
It's off a blue foot.
and it's come off a Glasgow foot. So Reinings just going to hoof that downfield and demand Tom Collins gets in a foot race with Tommy Seymour, and Seymour's just going to win it. Dewy ground allows him a chance to ride along, and Tom Collins has gone straight off his feet, and it's a penalty to the Warriors. That was like 4:30 at Chepstow.
It wasn't a just two proper thoroughbreds there, charging down the wing. It looked like Tom Collins was making a yard up on Tommy Seymour, but he did really well to slide down on the ball. Collins just got a little bit overexcited. It looked like Seymour was just getting to his feet. Referee Christoph Ridley felt He was just a little bit too early into the collision there.
It's from over
And that's a frustrating penalty.
25.
You've got 60 metres as Northampton Saints side, up in Glasgow's half again, having turned the ball over. And then you can see the penalty. And Glasgow at the moment, obviously down to 14 men. Important they just manage the clock. And this is where pre-season comes into play. The understanding of how you manage these periods whereby you're a player down, and particularly in possession, look after the ball, work that clock down, and ultimately try and just generate some field position that gives you an opportunity to pick up a score.
Well, they got a big win against Harlequins last week, didn't they? And, you know, there may be a few questions asked about what's going on there with Paul Gustard, the new man, and how much influence he's managed to have yet. As Northampton Saints take that one off the top, and actually Glasgow could find themselves a little bit narrow here, and Burrell has noticed that and finds PC out on the wing, and PC's got great footwork. One step out and one step back, and he manages to get straight inside Rory Jackson. And now back in field, and it's Waller. Reiner, quick tempo here, that's not the greatest pass. It'll be picked up by Tuala. They've got numbers on the left again here. Can they get across and cause a problem? And is that going to be seen as a penalty? Referee had his arm out for a knock-on advantage, but he's raised it to the vertical. And it's going to be another yellow card.
Hang on, I'm just going to have a chat about it, all right? Hang on, lads, let's have a chat.
It's Rory Jackson, I believe.
So, clear deliberate knock-on. Was there any cover from the blue team? And
We've just got a chat between the two officials.
Penalty try.
Goodness me, well, he's gone penalty try. You have to argue that might well be the right call if the hand in the way that was cynical has stopped a certain try. Rory Lawson.
Yeah, let's have a look at this. I felt the ball went up in the air, which typically you see Rory Jackson covering on the outside. He's got 2-on-1 against him. Collins here, and he jumps in and he knocks the ball out. It actually goes backwards. It's not even a knock on for me. That ball goes backwards. It goes up in the air. He's not gone to knock it down, which I felt would have been worthy of a yellow card and penalty try. I think he's been really hard done by there.
Well, let's have a look at it from the rear angle. This isn't going to help us in terms of whether it was forward or not, but it'll certainly tell us how certain a try may have been. Cover tackle is coming across here. Jackson had chosen to stay in. I have to agree with you, Rory Lawson. There is certainly an element of that going behind him from where he touches it, which puts a different slant on it altogether.
You can't be done for a deliberate knock back, can you?
Indeed.
So, yeah, I think he's been really hard done by there.
Well, Glasgow are down to 13. 2 clocks on screen for you. And it's 12-0, of course. Penalty try these days, just a full straight 7 points.
Shoulders on, 4.
And the home side will be the happier at the minute. James Grayson hoists a crossfield kick to try and test Seymour. Seymour's got himself under Collins.
And it's been into his space.
Knocked forwards, and despite the home fans trying to appeal for another card, perhaps.
So it's just a knock on.
The referee said that actually he jumped into the space where Tommy Seymour was lurking.
This is actually, I think that's actually the first try there. You can see Rory Hutchison in the 13 jersey. Got a bit of a dead leg by the looks of things there. The same corner that the second try, the penalty try given, here it is now. Again, lucky, better, more luck than judgment there with the bounce pass. Really difficult to defend, though. Rob Harley compromised in D. Collins did well. Here's Rory Jackson. Look at where his feet are there. Convinced it goes
backwards. And the ball lands behind him. Yeah, I think you're spot on.
Crouch.
And that is a very harsh decision.
Bind.
So Nico Matavale is stepping forward to play scrum half in the absence of George Horn. Yellow card for him, and the yellow, of course, for Jackson. Warriors need to just get themselves out of this spell. Oh, that's brilliant from Matavale, and he's got the option on the right, and 13 men of Glasgow Warriors are going to score a scintillating try at Franklin's Gardens, made by the Fijian, and that was lovely.
Just a little bit of brilliance. Simple stuff, but obviously Glasgow have identified a weakness down the blind side off set piece. Sam Johnson started it off with another really strong carry. It's almost like James Grayson's got a target on his chest.
The big second row. Burrell. Nice little soft hand release for Tuala, who manages to get through. He's got one man to beat Tuala. Steps back inside. Reinach, they're queuing up on the right here. Ben Franks.
well under advantage.
Well, Rob Harley was just loitering in the passing channel. It wouldn't allow Franks to get the ball away. They're still playing advantage here.
No advantage coming. High, seatbelt only.
So seatbelt tackle is the call.
Time off.
Wasn't anything that merited more punishment. Now, Rory
tackle.
Lawson, I'm a traditionalist here. Northampton Saints had the chance to go left of the field, right of the field. They made a good 10 yards trying to get close to the try line, and then we've come back about 11 yards for the penalty award. It seems if the points aren't going to be scored, you still get another shot. And I miss the days when you've had your 10 metres.
I know, but you could argue at the same time they had a couple of occasions they could have scored within that phase.
Well, that's it. You've had your advantage to try and score. You haven't scored, so on we go.
You said they were lining up on the outside,
as long as they're still moving.
and there was a man, a 2 times World Cup winner in the number 3 jersey, Ben Franks, who was probably the last person on the pitch.
Well, Rob Harley was loitering right next to him to say, I know there are 4 blokes the other side of me, but you've got to go through me first.
Absolutely. It was Rob Harley who conceded the penalty for a high shot on Ken Pesey, and within that one phase of play you saw Asi Tuala and Ken Pesey, the 2 Samoans, looking very sharp, dangerous, hot steppers a couple of times down this right flank. Ken Pesey has isolated defence. First time Rory Jackson, that time there it was Alex Dunbar off the kick-off who found himself out on the wing, so he's looking dangerous. Glasgow will be very keen to try and soak up these attacks. George Horn is back on from his yellow card, so they're back to 14 at least.
Well, back to 14 and another 4 minutes until they'll be at the full complement. And now they've got to defend a potential catch and drive scenario from the home side. Well, it's a little loose. In fact, they're going to use the backs because they might think they've got more numbers out here. They've had joy going from right to left a few times. Big tackle on Luther Burrell though, and it's driven them back to the 22. Saints come again. Warriors calling numbers over to our right, their left. Collins, big hit
Away,
on
Blue.
Cummings.
Up, please.
Batty rolled out of there. Waller. Grayson gets it away for Laws. Ryan Wilson with the big hit, vital part of that Pro 12 winning side in 2015. Ryan Wilson, one of the co-captains of the side this season. But now it's turnover ball, and Hastings gets them going. Matavalu, nice soft hands. And then it comes back inside from Johnson. But George Horn has just touched the whitewash, and Matavalu is getting involved in a bit of extracurricular stuff with Tamana Harrison.
I don't need your help.
And no one seems to be wanting to give any ground in there at the minute. Referee's blown the whistle a few times, but I think we're still all checking who's got the nicer handbag.
That's about as friendly a scuffle as you'll see, isn't it? Just a little bit of grabbing of jerseys, pushing back and forth. Nothing really in it, I don't think.
Thanks, lads. Back you go.
I'd rather look closely at Glasgow's defensive set there, which will really please the Glasgow coaches. 4 or 5 phases, well defended, some big hits from the defensive leaders.
It's the voice of Rory Lawson with us here.
It's very much
bringing you the live streaming coverage, and we'll just hear from Ridley.
I'm going to get rid of each player from each team who's involved. That fair enough? Okay, not again, please. Play on with the line out. 5 man.
He's a young man, Christoph Ridley.
Time back
I
on.
think almost every man on the pitch is bigger than him, but he's laying down the law to these 2 packs.
Just stay in 15.
James Fish gets it in. It's come back on the Warriors' side.
Yeah, I've got it.
Tidying it up. Was there a little
You're
knock
legal,
forward
no
on the
advantage.
ground
Knock on
there?
in the line out.
Oh, in fact, the knock-on was in the line.
You're good over the ball there. No
Advantage
issue
to
with that.
Glasgow, and they will have the scrum.
Good defensive line out from Glasgow there, and actually when you look at the Northampton Saints pack, they've got a very mobile, very dangerous back row. Haskell, Brousseau, Harrison, but not necessarily a line out option within that. So it allows Glasgow to be able to attack David Ribbons and Courtney Laws, track their movements. Scott Cummings, Greg Peterson there. Whereas on the flip side, you look at Glasgow with their line out, they've got Harley as a line out option, albeit as a very good lifter as well, and Ryan Wilson, soft-handed, good line out option in there. So strong, good defensive set from Glasgow. Up against it in the scrum though.
Front row's gone down, and Saints will get themselves the penalty. Is it just going to get a little overcooked
Don't do
again?
something silly now.
George Horn is spoken to again by the referee.
James, let go.
Scotland representative honours at under 17, under 19, and well, of course now his first cap against the USA this summer on the score sheet against Argentina. Not having a bad year at all, but he's going to have to watch things with referee Ridley this afternoon. Already had a yellow card. Bit of fruity back chat was the reason for the yellow card. I'm not sure that's what the referee's written down, by the way. It's my paraphrasing. So here comes Saints again.
Stay there,
Well, they
then,
opt to
Blue.
keep it in the forwards. Will they release the backs again? They've still got the one-man advantage. Haskell brings it down, finds that there's nobody defending him, so he has a little turn and looks to have a go.
Early by Blue.
The penalty to the Saints.
It's already a penalty. Early by Blue. Agreed.
Ben Franks
Like I
has
said to you, it'll be one from each.
just taken a knock on the floor. He's looked to try and get up on his feet very, very quickly there, and causes one to be suspicious these days in the game, doesn't it? When a big man hits the deck and gets up there, absolutely
Play
fine.
the line, timing, make sure they're down.
It looks like he's
I'll make sure
taking
they
a
come
bit of a
down
knock.
quickly.
He's walking a little bit gingerly, but you know, these Kiwi front rowers
Fellas, the nonsense after the whistle has to stop.
Made of
Seriously.
strong stuff.
certainly are.
Haskell again takes it down one-handed in the end, gets the transfer of the ball back with Fish.
Out now.
Saints faithful shout heave, and heave they do as the Warriors defence just begins to splinter, and the number advantage looks like it might tell. Where's the ball though?
Collapse.
Reinach has it.
Collapse.
Warriors are judged to have collapsed it right on the line. And we will go again.
On the line again,
Grayson into the
Blue.
corner.
It's 2 penalties.
Line
no
out
more
time
here.
once more.
2 penalties, no more here.
You know, when your hooker James Fish has scored 5 tries in the 2 pre-season games so far, there aren't many of those that are 50-yarders. A couple of them on the end of a drive, so it's a real asset of Northampton Saints that they're looking to isolate Glasgow again in here.
And here we go again. And Fish will attach himself to the back once more and hope that it's going to be the same result as it has been for the last couple of weeks, and they are getting ever closer. Is this going to be the 3rd try for Northampton Saints? Referee says yes it is. Disconsolate faces from Glasgow Warriors. As we know in the modern game, it's just so difficult to defend.
Particularly when you build that foundation like Saints did there. Ribbons rising high in the line out, and from there the building blocks are in place. His 2 lifters block off the Glasgow players from getting through. This is towards the end of it. You see Nico Matualu trying desperately to get in. The rest of the backs will probably try taking a bit of credit for that, adding their extra kilos,
Got rewarded, didn't he?
but all the hard work had been done. James Fish on the end of it.
Yeah, I think Luther Burrell's going to claim an assist there. First one to applaud. Grayson's kick goes wide. 17 points to 5. Home side with the lead. Well executed catch and drive.
Yeah, you see the replacements in behind there. Enjoyed that one. Luther Burrell in the number 13 jersey punches the air in celebration. Final play with Glasgow at 14 for the moment before Rory Jackson comes back on. But they're up against it a little bit at the moment.
Stay there.
Reinach plays it away to Franks.
Lost now, Blue.
Batting
Don't play the 9. It's lost now, let go.
Turner, weight around the corners of the ruck, coming down out of the sky for Rory Jackson.
Not now yet. Well done.
Little sell of the dummy at the back.
Pull back. Pull back, black fall.
Tuala with the sell. And there we go. Where's the pot of gold? I think it's in the car park.
Good call, Spoons. Yeah, good.
Rainbow over the Midlands. Penalty for Hastings, putting it into the corner.
Well, I'm seeing most in that shot there is the rain falling again. You can see the rainbow in the background, but the surface is really slippery. At this stage of the season, there's not much grit or mud on there to add grip to the ball. It makes handling really difficult, so be a real challenge to play the expansive game that Glasgow certainly want to come here and play.
They get the catch right.
Yeah, I've got it.
And in
Advantage. He's offside. He's compromised.
Similar to at the other end a moment ago, there was almost a moment where Northampton Saints weren't there to defend it, and now they do get going.
Not now.
Can they hit back in similar fashion? It's brought to ground. Ball is there for Horn. Plays it back. Now they look for the release out the back. And is it going to work here for Matavalo on the wraparound? Yes, it is. Try for the Warriors. And really nicely worked. They had plan A, and as soon as plan A was beginning to fall apart, they had the advantage from the referee. But it was a chance for Matavalo.
There you go. That will delight Dave Rennie and his coaches. Strong drive for starters. There's penalty advantage. You can see referee Christoph Ridley arm out of the side. George Horn sees it, gets the ball quickly into Sam Johnston's hands. The ball's out the back to Hastings, who's tied Burrell in. Matawalu's off his shoulder. There are questions about whether Reinach managed to dislodge the ball from Matawalu. Oh,
that's very tight. There is no TMO as that was being kicked. Now then, let's just listen to Ridley. Now the body language of the referee there.
If only we had this, lads.
Well, he's basically apologised to the players that he acknowledges that shouldn't have been a try. You don't see that every day. It's a good job we're in pre-season. Natavalu didn't get the ball down. It was thrown away.
Well, given the yellow card, we can say it's one apiece on the calls that have gone the way of each side. I think the yellow card against Jackson and that one there from Matawalu try given.
Well, it's nice that the referee has given a bit of honesty to Northampton Saints there to say he got that one wrong. It is pre-season. We don't have the TMO call option available to the officials. So fair play to Christoph Ridley for holding his hands up.
Away now, good.
For any critics of the TMO though, there you go. That's where it really comes in handy.
17-10 the score.
Good steal first.
Warriors
man.
now just
Play
behind
on.
by a converted try. That one's right up in the face of David Ribbons. And then a big tackle from Rory Jackson.
Stay there, good. Off feet, Blue, release.
Option to the left. Haskell, the man who gets it off the soft hands of Fish.
Let go, lads, let go.
They go the same way again. Little look from Piers Francis, who's just trying to pull the strings in the number 12 shirt.
Stay there, not now. Good.
They go again, still down the same side. Luther Burrell thought it might have just been opening up for him. Tommy Seymour almost showed him that inside deliberately to send him through. And again, Alex Waller, co-captain for the season for Saints. Warriors defence stretches around, back up to the full complement of 15 now, as we tick towards the latter stages of the first half. Grayson out the back for Francis, or Francis might have had more on there if he'd have continued his run forwards. Henrik Brousseau, not seen a ton of him so far in the first half. Reinach, Ribbons, good line from him.
Good work.
I wonder if Scott Cummings has taken a bit of a knock in trying to bring down his opposite lock. Courtney Laws has knocked it on. What are the options available here? It's a knock-on advantage only. And Warriors have got a couple of men who are struggling a bit. George Turner is just getting back to his feet. Hastings as well is out of your shot, just sitting on his haunches, but we're not stopping because Tommy Seymour is making yards. Penalty Warriors. Will they opt to go quickly? Yes, they do. Rory Jackson fancied it, and then he gets it back. Matavalu is inside, and he'll want to put his foot on the accelerator, which he does. Ball back in field wasn't the tidiest, and Tom Collins has it now, and it's a breathless couple of minutes here at Franklin's Gardens in pre-season.
Tackle now.
Hastings is being led away off the field down at the far end. He is walking. I don't think it looks too serious, but we'll try and get an update on that as soon as we can. There he is, Hastings.
Great, thank you.
Son of Gavin, of course. And well, we'll await to see the results of that harum-scarum stuff there for a little while.
Wasn't it, Justin? I think as much as the Northampton Saints players will be frustrated with James Grayson's left-footed kick that went straight out,
Okay,
it was a welcome rest for a number of guys. Breathless stuff, end to end.
2 and 10.
Again, George Horn
Change.
bringing a lot of energy to it. Matawalu seems to be everywhere. I thought again he had a real opportunity there. A couple of changes coming now. Hastings gone down the tunnel. I'm not sure if that's an HIA, but Brandon Thompson's come on for him.
Yeah, they brought Brandon Thompson on. Kevin Bryce is on as well, with George Turner, I think, just having taken a knock. We're pretty close to half-time as it stands. Our clock is not official on and off. It's a best estimation. We won't be too far off, we can assure you of that. And I think we've also got Robbie Nairn.
Ryan Wilson's come off. I think it's Adam Ash has gone on.
Sorry, yeah, it is Adam
Ryan
Ash who's
Wilson.
gone on, number 20.
Glasgow, when you come.
Again, none of these guys hobbling.
Numbers then, please, lads. 6. Step off.
So Wilson gone.
Timing.
And Adam Ash into the action as well. Line-out time for the Warriors then, and it's up from Greg Peterson, but it wasn't straight according to the referee, and
Scrum.
former Waratah might bring it down, but it's actually going to be possession to the home side.
Yeah, that'll frustrate Kevin Bryce. His first play, just coming off the bench, just a not straight. There wasn't there's no competition at the front either, which just adds to the frustration. But he was impressive last week up in Perth against Harlequins. Strong. He's been moved around the front row over the last couple of seasons, but
Crouch.
I believe hooker is his best position. He's a really strong, powerful man.
Set.
Fair bit of movement in the front row. Referee not
Just
too
didn't
happy.
have
It's
stability. Let's
steady
go
enough for
again
the ball.
over the mark. Spacing was fine. Fine. Here we go.
Let's go, Sue. Let's go, Frank. Let's go, Frank. Let's go, boys. 2 minutes.
Don't forget, plenty of content coming up over the course of the season on Glasgow Warriors TV.
Crouch.
Insiders of what's going on during the course of the week as the team prepares for the big games, and
Set.
exclusive content in terms of post-match reaction as well. Great to have you tuning in and watching this game live here on Friday night from Franklin's Gardens as the Warriors look to complete their pre-season ahead of the Guinness Pro 14 starting next week. And it's Tuala who takes that in.
Stop 9.
Saints look to kick it into the corner.
8. Stop, please. Good work. Thanks.
It's worked out pretty well.
A little bit of game management there from James Grayson.
It's dead
Obviously
now.
had to come on early for Dan
Just
Bigger,
on the edge, please.
but he's done all right. He's got his back line moving.
5.
Glasgow now in possession. Will be keen to finish the half, certainly without conceding anything else.
That one's a little better.
More.
And Kevin Bryce has got his hands back on the ball again now. Rejoined on a short-term deal this summer after a 3-year spell between 2013 and 16. Saints get themselves going again.
Thanks.
Through the hands from Piers Francis and Tom Collins, and now on the outside speeding through is Luther Burrell. Burrell gets his hands on it, nearly managed to get there, all with the moisture on the grass. Ryan, oh, he's got that close, and he has scored it. Rory Jackson tried to smuggle it away, but I think there was contact between ball and whitewash. The Northampton Saints had another try before the break.
Okay, so we restart.
Cutting edge from the counter-attack from Northampton says Glasgow will be really frustrated.
They'll be trying for
Poor defence allowed the opportunity from the kick return. But you saw Luther Burrell there fighting in contact. Reinach, Dunbar and Jackson trying to get back, but Reinach was sharp.
There'll be one more player.
He had James Fish on a tight angle, but just managed to reach out and get a little bit of the whitewash. Good finish by Reinach, the Springbok internationalist. Sharp around the fringes. Managed to expose the opportunity and get over.
Big deep breath from James Grayson as he waits to make the conversion. He's not had an evening to remember so far from the tee, James Grayson. Not quite got the gift from Dad in terms of the kicking from the tee. Here's the finish from Reinach. If the ref wasn't going to give it, the fans in the stand certainly were.
Yeah, smart finish by Reinach. Burrell did everything to get in behind. Dangerous counter-attack, capitalised upon by Reinach.
Brendan Thompson with the restart.
That's
Collins
time, just so
wrapped
you know.
up in the tackle. Clock is red, time is up. And referee Christoph Ridley agrees.
47 minutes.
On an absorbing first half and plenty of rugby to enjoy, plenty of incident as well. 2 yellow cards for the Warriors. One very much a zero tolerance in terms of back chat. The other, well, question marks over whether it was a slap down and whether the ball was forward from Rory Jackson.
Fair enough. We've had penalties both ways, but look, we'll continue looking for that, right? We'll just make sure it's the same for both teams.
So half time at Franklin's Gardens, it is Northampton Saints 22, Glasgow Warriors 10, and we'll have some highlights of the first half to come for you very, very shortly. But in the meantime, we can have a look at some of the fun we've been having on Glasgow Warriors TV.
Oh, hello, Sally Price here. The new season is nearly here, so I'm getting some rest before it all kicks off. Putting my feet up. And down. I'm taking advantage of all the great prices at the Sterling Summer Sale, and now all the Warrior Nation can too. That's because I've sorted you all an extra 10% in the Summer Sale collection. Great price. Fantastic price. Unbelievable price. But only for this weekend. So come and get your exclusive Warriors discount at Sterling Furniture.
Hoggy, how's pre-season been going for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously we've done 4 weeks now at hard training, so it's been very enjoyable. The boys are fit and well and excited to get going next week.
You weren't involved last week against Harlequins, but you were up there. How much did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. The boys performed incredibly well. We've been working a lot on our kind of ball handling over the off season, and it really showed at the weekend there. And we took every opportunity that was on offer and scored some cracking tries. So we're looking fit and well. We're training well. We're playing well. So we're ready to crack on now.
Another tough game tonight down at Franklin's Gardens.
Obviously played there a couple of times and yet to get a win. So hopefully the boys can go out there, express themselves, have some fun, and get another good victory ahead of next week.
And when can we expect to see you back?
Whenever the boss man wants to pick me. I think the plan is to be back next weekend for Connacht game. So here's hoping that I can perform well in training and get a jersey for next weekend. It's an incredibly tough league to be involved in, and for us to try and win it, we're going to have to go through some hard times, and we're excited about that though. As I say, we've worked hard in off season. We're ready for this, and it'll be good to get back to Scotstoun and play in front of our home crowd. So it's been a long time, but hopefully they're nice and vocal and can cheer us on to victory.
Hi, I'm Adam Ash, and you can download the brand new Warriors Weekly podcast on iTunes or on Acast.
Half-time changes, just to bring you up to speed with those for Glasgow Warriors. Greg Peterson is on to replace Scott Cummings. Rob Harley in the action, replacing Bruce Flocker. And we've got Matthew Tagaivi, who's on for Masanga. On for Paddy Kelly, it's Stafford McDowell.
So the Pro 14 taking place on Premier Sports, the new broadcaster of the Guinness Pro 14. And well, if there are any of the Northampton Saints fans watching and you want to see what's going on in the ranks of the Premiership, well, the Premiership Shield is going to be on Free Sports from next season. So there'll be a fair amount of free-to-air rugby to enjoy watching wherever you are. But first half, well, we've had a handful of tries. 6 to be exact. One was a penalty try, but Rory Lawson, who's alongside us, this was the first for Northampton Saints. A stumble fly from Tom Collins, and the numbers told, having sucked Glasgow into the middle.
Yeah, good awareness from Tuala on the outside. You just see here, there's Collins, just managed to check Hastings. Rory Jackson dived in on Tuala, but it was the ball across the front to Haskell. Easy running for him. First blood for Saints.
Yeah, and then the second score. And, well, this is how it came. Rory Jackson puts the hand in. It goes backwards by our reckoning, but the referee said that was a tap down. It was a certain score, and he went straight under the posts.
It's not even a penalty for me. I think it goes backwards. He's played at it. Yes, his hand's gone up the way. I don't think it's. He's looked to knock the ball down. For me, it should never have been a penalty, let alone a penalty try and yellow card.
And this is Matavalu, absolutely storming away. Seymour on the shoulder. And Warriors getting themselves back into the game, but they lost Jackson to the bin, they lost George Horn to the bin, and at that stage we're playing with 13 men.
Look at this finish again there. Matawalu so sharp around the fringes to expose the two Saints second rowers. Tommy Seymour, like any good poacher, latching onto the end of it.
And we had the pushover try, catch and drive, which saw James Fish getting his 6th try in 3 pre-season games. Then Matavalu on the wraparound, and then we had Kobus Reinek as the players come out, and we're just getting restarted at the second half. Reinek, who got the ball just over the line. Of course, there was a question over Matavalu's score. He went to put the ball down. It looked like a triumphant slap of the ball on the line, Our replay showed that perhaps the ball had escaped from his mitts at the time, but no TMO. Christoph Ridley, in fact, shrugged his shoulders at the end. He admitted to Saints that perhaps he'd got that one wrong because it was on the big screen in front of them as the conversion was being taken. But no matter, pre-season chance for everybody to sharpen up their act, and it looks like Tuitavaki might be sharpening up and coming through the middle for Northampton Saints. It's a penalty to the home side and they go quickly. And it's a quick ball back inside. But it's gone forwards. Reinach fancied it quickly. Didn't quite work out with Grayson in the end.
He certainly did. He was quick on that. Quick tap penalty, made 30 metres. Just the scramble defence of Glasgow just got there. I have to say, Nick, this is when it gets interesting for us commentators. A lot of changes at half-time. A number of them wearing the same number jerseys with a different human being in them. So it's going to be fun and games for the next 40 minutes trying to identify players from up here in the gantry. But a number of changes already been made, as you can understand from the coaches.
It's where phrases like the big man and the tall guy come into their own. That's what you
neither of which I was referred to as.
Hang on, lads. Hang on.
This is the voice of Rory Lawson alongside us here for the Warrior Nation live stream of this last pre-season game. Glasgow Warriors trailing by the 12 points currently. Certainly got the players in the arsenal with the internationals to
make sure we accept a reasonable amount of weight.
Try and affect some change second half.
The Warriors, it looks almost like the same pack that went in at the end of the first half, but Andrew Davidson's come into the second row by the looks of things. For Greg Peterson, I mean, just come on loan from Newcastle Falcons. Great opportunity for that young man.
Yeah, we've got the likes of Luther Burrell and James Haskell who are down watching below us. So changes afoot for both sides.
This player here. Loose head, straight to ground. 1.
Penalty Saints. This is going to be another kick to the corner job. Grayson.
Got to work to stay higher there, please. No.
Will it be the catch and drive option?
Line's
Or are they
yours.
going to release the backs? We've seen a little variation of both in the first half. Job for Warriors is to defend it whatever the option. We go to the middle.
Advantage, collapse.
Ball is down and away for Saints. Francis. Grayson have gone for the long ball over the top for Asi Tuala. Offloads it out the right for Tuitavaki to walk in the corner. It's Peacey, in fact, who's back on the field. 14s for 14s. Ken Peacey, the scorer.
Just a really classy piece of play by Asi Tuala in the number 15 jersey for the Saints. Came off the drive. Again, I think it was penalty advantage. But you look at the scramble here, Greg Adam Hastings just on the left of screen there. Tommy Seymour, I think, had to jump in. Actually, I think it's Dietej van der Merwe on the outside. But Asi Tuala just tucked it under his right arm, looking like he was going to carry. Offload away, and Ken Peacey will struggle to score an easier try this season than that one.
Thank you.
Another conversion that evades that area between the sticks for James Grayson.
Glasgow 1.
Look at this, Dietej van der Merwe there.
So
Rory Jackson pulled in by Tuala. He probably should have stayed out and had to trust van der Merwe to make the tackle on Tuala. But as soon as he was drawn in, Tuala freed the ball up, ball out the back door. Try time Saints.
Restart taken down, and Glasgow do a decent job
Too many
of
hands have touched that ball. Still your
shepherding
line
Saints
out. There you go.
over the whitewash. They will get the scrum. The line out.
Just
Kevin
timing,
Bryce.
please.
Darcy Ray waits at the back.
Stay.
They'll go to the middle. And Cummings now breaking. Oh, and then it just opens up straight through the middle. Plenty of pressure to try and hold the man up in possession, and in fact, Christoph Ridley, he's so sharp on that area, doesn't allow any time for the support to get in there. If the defence is on, then it's on. The big man in there as well for Northampton Saints.
I don't know if it was Mitch Eadie or Ken Peacey that should take credit for that one there, but Dietrich van der Merwe ripping through the Saints defence initially. You see here off the back of it, Callum Gibbons breaks off the back of the maul. Good ball there to George Horn, and there's the angle. Adam Hastings taking the eyes of Peacey. Dietrich van der Merwe just lost his footing.
Advantage.
Laws down from the back of the line. Reineck again. Options to the right. Ratuni Yarawa is onto the field as well.
Still playing under advantage. 18
back.
contact across the line now. 10 is there, you're good.
Penalty, I think it was against Will Davis.
18.
That is one that I tend to agree with you, the lack of advantage. You know, 3 phases into the middle of the field, not getting across the gain line at all, no flow in the play. Comes back for the penalty.
Six. Stay there.
To Uriah, the big man to bring it down in the middle. Saints coming forward again. But a bit of crossing there, and that was well spotted by the referee. Denying the Warriors a chance to make any tackle. And they'll have the penalty.
It's definitely a pre-season game error, that one, isn't it? Just different combinations working together, not quite got the timing or effectiveness off the strike plate, and it came off front of line-out ball, which is for the backs the least inviting ball. You don't draw in any of the guys coming off the back of the line out or any of the first defenders in the backs. Just gives you the chance to shut down the space that much better. Led to mistiming from the Saints.
Going to be a battle in the air there to win that ball.
It's Northampton ball.
Saints getting their hands on it.
Keep it up.
And they play it away. Crowd happy that they managed to come away with it so successfully, and Tuitavaki straightening through the middle. And Mikey Hayward.
No, not now, Blue. Good.
Reineck wants it back.
Leave it. Good work. Ball's clearly lifted. Up you get.
Warriors looking to try and put as much pressure on this as possible through Darcy Ray.
Stay there, then.
Saints with a chance to make the clearance.
Inside.
Brilliant line-out steal from Jamie Gibson.
We'll find out.
Being able to get it up alongside Scott Cummings, win that ball for the Saints. Couple of scrappy phases, but Reineck managed to find a good touch.
You're the owner of Grey Audi.
Hold that space, please, lads. In the middle. Step. Northampton, stay there. Hooker, step.
Oh, it's gone over the top of everybody. And Hayward's going to be the first one to react to it. And now it comes off down the line. And it's Ollie Slytime. Reineck. Hayward. Go around the corner again. Now Reineck once more. Spots a bit of room over in the corner. Looks to go over the head of Warriors. Oh, and is that a knock-on in the corner from DTH van der Merwe? It might just be. And that's just the sort of error that loses you a ton of confidence and a ton of distance.
15 are going off. They're just there.
Doesn't it just? They're
going off now.
Oh, back over his head, DTH van der Merwe. The bounce of a rugby ball.
Knock on.
He'll be disappointed with that.
Rory Jackson is leaving the fray. And Tommy Seymour as well down below us.
Crouch. Down. Bind. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
We'll do our best to keep up with the changes, but there are going to be about 400 of them.
We've just lost
so
the
do
space
bear with
this
us.
side, so maintain the space. It needs to be square. Let's go again. That side, this side's fine.
Seconds.
Crouch. Down. Bind.
Free kick. Here comes Saints once more.
Stay there. No, it's not.
PC twisting and turning. Laws is still in there. Working away. Reinach. Ratuni Yarawa. Back the other way.
Away blue.
Ford Robinson is in there. With the shock of
Advantage
blonde.
knock on in the tackle.
Now there's a knock-on advantage being
It's a
played,
knock-on in the
but
tackle only. Scrum black.
Glasgow Warriors can't really get their hands on the ball too much this second half.
No, they're struggling. Northampton Saints, real physicality. Picked up that in the first half. They're direct, they're combative, and it's a really physical match. Both sides will know that they've been in a contest here.
About 10 seconds. So let go of his leg.
There'll be a few aches and pains tomorrow, but the key thing for Glasgow in the next 30 minutes of this match is just to try and build themselves back into this game. Good opportunity for a couple of guys to get some game time under their belts. It's really difficult to keep the momentum going when there are so many changes. But at the same time, that's exactly what they'll be focusing on. Trying not to focus on it as an individual. It's about combinations and working well as a team. Put some questions into Dave Rennie's head ahead of his selections for their opening match against Connacht next week.
You both come on. We didn't have issues with space in the first half. Let's go again. Stay there. I'll give you your own mark, lads, if you make this an issue. Can you stay there? Good. Let's go.
Reinach waits. Just a little look over the top of the scrum.
Set.
Makes eye contact with Grayson.
Through the mark.
Free kick. Reinach goes. Plays it back for Grayson, who was waiting for it. Just a little deep for him, and slides home. He's well picked up. Saints still have the ball, despite the physical challenge of Adam Ash. And now they come again round the corner. Is it going to be a chance for Will Davis? He's taken into touch.
Lads, hands down then. Whoa. Relax.
Rory Hughes that time just being told to
making a change.
Relax. Another push and shove.
I'm just going to go to the back.
Glasgow just managing to scramble.
Step off.
I think it's Robbie Nairn that's in the number 20 jersey in the outside channel there.
Good there. Let's
Making a good tackle on Davis to get him into touch.
Try time. Well, goodness me. Northampton Saints burst their way through. And Glasgow Warriors seem a little stunned.
Overthrow. Cobus Reinach straight onto it. But again, just an inaccuracy. 5 metre line out. Just got to seal that ball. Try and get an exit of sorts. So whether that's ball in hand or kicking it, you've just got to find an exit. That's the very end of it there. But by then, Glasgow were preparing to try and clear, assuming that they were going to have possession. You see it's Ash at the back of the line out that it goes over the top of. Reinach reads it well.
And perhaps an awareness as well that Kevin Bryce hadn't quite been getting his lines right at the line out really since he's been on.
It's a tough call for a hooker. A throw to the back 5 metres from your line, but Reinach capitalised, gets his second try of the night.
Well, the cheers are extra loud for James Grayson because he's got his first conversion of the evening. Converting Cobus Reinach's try. And Northampton Saints are cruising at the minute, 34 points to 10.
To me, that one just looked like a poor lift. I think it was Adam Nicol at the back in behind Adam Ash, together with Rob Harley.
And James Mitchell at scrum half replaces Cobus Rennie.
No hands, Blue. Good contest, all on your feet.
Big tackle. Brings Laws to ground.
It's not out timing.
Saints playing under their own posts.
9!
Chip downfield, and that will just safely relieve a little bit of the pressure.
Doesn't matter because the ball's gone straight out. If it stayed in play, I would have penalised you for offside in front of kick.
Adamash chases that one away.
In line with front man then, please. Step off. Great, thank you. Numbers.
Harry Mallender finding an outcome there.
7.
Again, Saints this time looking to go from deep. Glasgow did well to scramble, shut it down. They'll be really keen to get back into this match. Couple of soft tries at the start of the second half.
Into the hands of the Warriors. As Rory Lawson says, it's been a little while. Adamash gets himself involved. Did that ball just go forwards? Seems to be the story of the night. Rory Hughes isn't going to get away on that far side. Just those small errors creeping in. We have had a fair bit of moisture over the course of the evening, so the ball isn't going to be the easiest to pick up on the surface. But Warriors will certainly feel that accuracy has not been on their side so far this evening.
Yeah, I was down pitch side at half time and it did look really slippery down there. Tricky conditions.
Fine, stay there.
What you don't appreciate until you're one of these players, you know how nice a new rugby ball feels. But typically when they're brand spankers, they've got a little bit of a film on it, and as soon as that gets wet, it's way slipperier than it should be. Not only takes a game or two to break the ball in. Not that I'm forgiving some of the mistakes, but at the same time, it's a tricky night for handling.
Saints look to try and keep it alive. They've got PC back onto the field. They've also got Luther Burrell back on. It seems to be rolling subs as far as Saints are concerned. The likes of Alex Mitchell is on to replace Cobus Reinach, and Burrell and Harry Mallender is onto the field as well. Just the one Mallender at Saints these days. 34 points to 10. Home side have the lead.
See Nick Frisbee and Brandon Thompson there on the bench. Looks like they'll be coming on soon, I'd assume, for Hastings and Horn, the two young halfbacks. It's been a challenging night tonight. They've been on the pack struggled a bit at scrum time. The conditions have been a little bit tricky. Physicality of the Saints has been the big thing that's been difficult for Glasgow tonight, as well as a couple of unforced errors that have led to scores.
Saints have come charging around the near side.
Turn, same ball.
Referee's happy to reset it. Those Glasgow Warriors there, I'd be asking the referee to have a look at them potentially running that one around too eagerly.
Square, keep it square. Loose heads, let's stay straight, both.
George Horn was making eyes with Rory Hughes ahead of that one. Hughes just started to totter in towards the scrum, as if that's going to be the motion off the back of this one. We'll just keep an eye on it.
When you look at the blind side, you've got Hughes at fullback, first receiver Robbie Nairn outside him, George Horn. Ultimately, there's only two defenders there, Grayson and Slightholme. I'd always back George Horn getting outside Jamie Gibson.
Well, it's ended up being a penalty to Saints with Warriors standing up. You could see just as we pulled our shot back there, Rory Hughes was waiting for it, but we're not going to see what was going to come of that. Grayson will take this penalty and kick it down to the left side below us. And a few more changes are going to be made. Grant Stewart is waiting to come on alongside Frisbee and Thompson.
Just making changes.
And on they go. George Horn leaving the field for the second time, this time more tactically minded rather than due to the yellow card that we saw.
Happy to play on? Okay, great. And you come, stay there. Yeah, timing then, please.
Adam Hastings off the field as well. Ratuni Yaroa, the one with the jump in the line out.
Early, 5 blue. 5 blue, early.
Been given against
been a fair few penalties at line out time, haven't they?
Can't take the lifting player.
That one there, think was suggesting it was Scott Cummings.
I haven't seen whether Alex Allen is onto the field yet to see who that penalty was given against.
Yeah, Alex Allen's at the front of the line out with a headband on for,
I think the
for the Warriors.
was against him. He's got the number 5 on his back now. Line out slightly inaccurate there. Now, is that ball out? Well, either way, it's been knocked on. Warriors will appreciate whatever effort they're getting positively, as Callum Gibbons just applauds the effort defensively to put the pressure on.
The changes have impacted, haven't they? The flow of the game, a number of errors. The set pieces got a little bit scrappier. Guys obviously so eager to come on and make a bit of an impact. Easier said than done. It's really difficult just to slot in with so many changes around you and not force things, and that's what we've seen from both sides, albeit the Saints have come out and scored a couple of tries in this second half so far. For Glasgow, they've just not settled into the game so far in the third quarter of this match.
2 number 7s on the field as well, incidentally, currently. Callum Gibbons, the co-captain, and Matt Smith, just to keep you on your toes.
When you've got a loose head prop wearing number 5 as well, that's certainly keeping you on your toes. Alex Allen.
Matt Smith, whose sister Hannah also plays for Scotland in the centre, played all the Six Nations games last season. It's getting messier and messier down there at the minute.
Loose head on the outside.
Penalty Glasgow Warriors.
On the 5 then, please. Yep.
Now, the old English coach Stuart Lancaster used to talk about doing something positive upon something positive upon something positive. That's what Warriors need to do here. Just put together a few threads of decent play. Safe touch finder, job done. Need to get the line out right and maintain a bit of possession here.
Right there. Numbers, please, Blue.
Definitely solid set piece. George Turner back on, having started the game at hooker. Different line out caller though. Different challenges altogether for the Glasgow pack. Again, one goes awry.
Yeah, goes over the top. Alex Mitchell will tidy it up. Now Saints queuing up again. Grayson. Burrell was told to get out of that in no uncertain terms.
Off feet.
There again for Mitchell. Grayson looked at the shorter ball. Harry Mallender did really well to get that away too. Tavaki joining in with it here, and Slytone, can he finish? Oh, he's thrown it away. Now one of the Warriors players is down on the field, and unfortunately it looks like it might have been a brief moment of lights out, so we hope that is nothing too serious. I didn't manage to get to see who it was who is currently down before the medical staff have got onto the field.
It looked like momentum just took him over.
Don't know if we'll be able to see anything here.
Sam Johnson.
We've got loads of time.
He's just jumped out of line. Can't believe Slyholm didn't go on the outside here. Credit to Rory Hughes forcing him to make that one last pass. Didn't go to Gibson's hands, but
yeah, Gibson almost a little too tight to him in the end. Maybe needed to just stay on the touchline a little more.
I was sure he was going to pin his ears back and go for the corner, but there's Sam Johnson. Medics taking their time on it. It was a nice movement. You see Mitchell at the base. Again, two lines of attack. You see Mallender out the back there. He jumps out of line. Mallender probably jumps into that tackle a little bit for me.
Yeah. Just needed to go a shade earlier to Gibson there, really. If Saints were going to finish that one off.
Thank you. Okay.
Pre-season, it's a fascinating time in a way, because you will want to give all of the teams and all of the players a decent run out, check the combinations, but by its very nature, the amount of people you're going to get onto the field, it's going to have the disruption that we've mentioned, and at times you wonder whether you're doing more harm than good, I imagine, as a head coach or director of rugby.
Yeah, it's tricky, and I think you do so much in training. You do opposed sessions. I know that Glasgow had a good stint against London Scottish. They played their game against Quins. They'll have had 15 on 15 in training in amongst themselves. but you do need that game time just to get the bodies prepared for it. But inevitably, the majority of the time, it's the fittest that your squad will ever be without the injuries, but you could really do without picking up too many. And Sam Johnson's certainly a guy that Dave Rennie will be keen to see fit and up for selection for the first match of the season in the Pro 14 next weekend.
Yeah, joint winner of the Player of the Season last season with Rory Jackson after plenty of high quality displays in the midfield.
This could take a while.
Over 40 club appearances, the Australian. But he's going to have at the very least a few HIA protocols to go through, and we certainly hope that all of this is precautionary. I think he just got his head caught the wrong side of the tackle, which we've just been able to see from a couple of those replays. So I hope Sam Johnson is absolutely fine. We could see him breathing heavily while he was out there on the field.
Yeah, it's just.
And we wish him well on a speedy recovery.
I think he just needs to pull him through. Okay.
Saints just huddled up. Temperature's dropped a fair bit here, so I think it has across the country. I think we're out of heatwave territory. Just to the left with the ball in his hands there is, I think that's Matt Ferguson, the forwards coach.
He's just coming down, I can see.
Nick Frisbee organising the Warriors as well, just trying to keep warm. As much as anything, you just got to try and keep the body temperature where it is. As you said, it's a cool night. The guys will be warm in a game, obviously, but at the same time, you don't really want to cool down going into the last 15 minutes of this match. Just keep the body temperature up there, keep the minds switched in, execute the passes.
Nick Griggs got the right idea, he's just getting cuddled by the posts.
He looks like a man who likes a cuddle. We were touching on how difficult these pre-season games can be for players, just try not to force things. It's also not the easiest for referees. They'll be under the microscope a lot with, Premiership games, Pro 14 games next weekend as well, but at the same time there's not the same pressure as there is under the lights in a big match whereby there are points at stake. So Christoph Ridley, he's tried to get a bit of authority across the players tonight.
Yeah, we've seen the admission. Saw the admission in the first half from Ridley when he got the call on Matavalu's try wrong. Even joking with the players, we don't have the TMO tonight, chaps. I'll hold my hands up. And of course the assessors will be seeing who is getting absolutely everything right. They'll be wanting to get the big appointments, the big matches. And we'll be looking to get things right and get the tone of things right in pre-season, so that the officials get themselves the chance to referee in some of the big clashes over the course of the season.
Could he have gone to the TMO had there been one for Rory Jackson's yellow card?
Yeah, well, I'd have thought so, because it's potential foul play, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's then would a TMO spotted as you did that it went backwards.
I would have been blind not to, I would have thought, but
yes, the TMO with the white dog and the stick might have got that wrong, but we certainly got the benefit of it. Well, the medical staff doing their best here, and it's never a great sight to see a player needing this much attention on the field, but of course we know that the majority of times, thankfully, it is more than precautionary, and Sam Johnson, having taken the knock, looking out cold as he was on the field, is they're taking every moment to make sure that they can get him off the field safely. We apologise for the slight break in play, but we appreciate your patience as you're tuning into our live stream. We can have a little look back at that try that we were talking about there, the Rory Jackson tap. for any of you who have just joined our live streaming coverage. That's the one that Matavalu bundled onto the try line, and it was given.
Would have been interesting to see if that one would have been given under the TMO. It was a nice movement play. You see Hastings out the back of Dunbar. Matavalu tucked under the right arm. Super slow-mo. Would it have shown he was still in contact with the ball?
Sam Johnson down off the field. Here's the Rory Jackson one. Oh, you can see where his feet are. You can see where the ball lands.
Okay.
I understand why a yellow card and penalty try was given first time round. We've got the benefit of the replay.
Well, we do, of course.
And for all money, it looked like it might have gone forward, but as it was on replay, definitely not.
Well, Warriors opt to go the full length and beyond of the line out on that occasion to try and get a bit of momentum onto it. And now it's in the hands of Harry Mallender, and a good cheer goes up as he gets his hands onto the ball, really for only the first or second time. There's a suggestion that went forwards, but now it has gone forwards with a knock-on advantage, and ball is chipped through, and it's sent PC scurrying after it.
Advantage, another knock-on.
There's another knock-on from Saints in there as well. Tuitavaki gets to his feet.
Leave him, leave him. It's only a scrum.
Positive reaction from Glasgow. Good ball. Long line-out throw after a long wait. It would be easy to lose concentration. Turner went long. Good carry up the middle. Long clearance by Brandon Thompson, and then off the back of it, the kick chase was good. Managed to isolate Ollie Slightholme. There was a knock-on in there off the back of it. George Turner had made his way from throwing the line out in 5 metres from his own line, got the ball, grubbered it through for Seymour to chase, and Glasgow find themselves 85 metres further up the pitch with an attacking scrum.
So scrum comes down in the middle of it for Northampton Saints. Eddie Jones's man, Dylan Hartley, making his first full contact return to rugby this evening. And it's good to see. Warriors, Van der Merwe, so strong, so able to find his way to the line. Brilliantly done from the Warriors.
DTH Van der Merwe never fails to amaze me. He is just so powerful with ball in hand. Unbelievable. Test for Canada, he scored 32 tries in 52 games. He's got 47 tries for Glasgow. There's his 48th. Just the fight through the contact, his strength through his core and his hips and his thighs. He just drives through the contact, fights past the first tackle, fights past the second tackle, and dives in. Really strong reaction from Glasgow Warriors.
They've been looking for that sort of run off that line out, off that sort of set piece for a little while. It was the scrum that time, apologies, but yeah, they've been looking for that little move, and well, the strength from Van der Merwe there was super impressive. Conversion goes wide. It'll just be the 5 points. Northampton Saints 34, Glasgow Warriors 15 on Glasgow Warriors TV here for the Warrior Nation, wherever you're tuning in.
It's a measure of how strong he is. Northampton actually read the play, but reading it, understanding what's coming and stopping it, two very different things, and they're great finish, Van der Merwe.
Jamie Gibson with the tackle from the restart, but it's still with the Warriors.
Tackle now, release.
Long ball as the Warriors look to come down the near side. Slightholme in there looking to put the tackle. Ball has gone loose. A frustrated Frisbee, who really didn't get a chance to have a bite at it. Slightholme. Slight of frame as well. Looks for the tiniest gap to try and squeeze through. Then it's away from Mitchell and Grayson. Tackle comes in from Rob Harley. The age of 28 became Warriors' most capped player in February earlier in the year, making his 178th appearance for the club against Munster. He's made 184 in competition now, plus a few more of these little pre-season ones to keep him ticking over. There's Luther Burrell. Attempted tackle made by Paddy Kelly.
Stay there, no. You can't step over the rook.
Kelly told to get out of there. Will Davis. Now it's there for Mitchell. Ratuni Urawa.
Release.
He was tackled.
Up, play on.
And he was allowed to release that ball, get to his feet and take it again. And it's away from Malander. Got it back from Slightholme, wasn't quite expecting it. And Warriors pile on the pressure and look to try and come through. Nick Grigg driving through. Ford Robinson.
Good defensive set from Glasgow here. Managed to just slow the ball down. Men on feet, line speed, good tackles. There's the maul call. They win themselves a scrum. Really good defensive set.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, very good absorbing of the pressure from Glasgow.
Hold up.
And the return is to get possession.
Yeah, interesting to see Callum Gibbons still out there. Just as I say, Greg Peterson comes on to replace him, but he's putting a big shift. One of Glasgow's co-captains. Obviously we saw Ryan Wilson in the first half.
Then he'll come up. Great, that's perfect.
I don't think there are many other guys out on the field who started this game. Rob Harley with the red hair and headband. I think he's the last man standing out there from the starting 15 who's been out for the duration, albeit George Turner's back on.
Set. Stay there. Use it.
Frisbee told to use it. Then away from Kelly. Thompson. Off to the left again. Warriors just attaching themselves to more players taking it into contact to try and hold on to a little bit more possession, and that's working better for them. Frisbee. PC had just shot out of the line a little bit there. It might have just been on around the outside. Rory Hughes had carried it on. And it was there for Gibbons and Frisbee once more. And now the Warriors come again.
Release.
The 10-metre line in Saints territory. Frisbee goes to the left this time. Little stutter on the run as Adam Ash sets it up. Frisbee again.
Release.
This is wave after wave from the Warriors, but they're only making inches at a time at the minute. Need somebody to find something to cut through. Brandon Thompson,
Advantage, not rolling.
former Springbok under-20s fly half. Now they've got the penalty advantage. James Grayson will spoil anything imaginative that the Warriors were going to try and do on the outside there, and it'll allow them the chance to kick this to the touchline.
That's a good phase of play from Glasgow there. A lot of quick ball within it. They didn't quite have the shape. Oh,
well, I thought they might kick for the corner. He's instead opted to chip it over.
Mark.
And the mark was called.
Mark.
Went for something a little cute, thinking the defence was going to wait for the kick to the corner, and now Saints are going to try and do something similar, although they've looked to try and clear that downfield. Has that gone out on the full? No, not quite. It's turned into an all-right result.
Still live.
I think it did get sliced off the boot, though, because I think Alex Mitchell fancied that as having gone downfield for a foot race, but actually we're still on. Here come Warriors again.
Good carry, Robin Ayrn.
Yeah. Strong run from him. Oh, and then nicely out the back door.
Let
No,
go,
didn't go
let
to
go.
hand from Adam Ash.
Ball's available.
Now they go to the left side and they want to try and keep up the momentum while the Northampton Saints defensive line hasn't quite regrouped.
Ball's alive.
It's a little loose on the far side.
Take it if you want.
There's a fair bit of play within this. It's very pre-season, isn't it? There's a real feel about
Same
it.
chance I just gave you, aren't I?
The chip from Brandon Thompson that wasn't on, and
This is
then
your mark, please.
Alex Mitchell, the replacement scrum half for the Saints, going for that quick tap and kick as well. And
Do you get the sense they're doing all the things they know they wouldn't be allowed to do when the season starts?
possibly.
Get it all out of your system now, chaps.
It's fair to say a lot of it's individual, and guys that are fully aware that there are a few guys out there that know that they're up against it for selection next week, so they're maybe trying to force one or two things within the game. At the same time, it's just not the right time for it. Coaches will always judge on making the right decisions at the right time.
Hartley has had plenty of time during his rehabilitation to work on the arrows, and he gets that one right. PC goes into play scrum half, gets it away. Big chop tackle from Adam Nicol. PC's there again, as is Hartley, but Alex Mitchell is back there now. Hoists it high. Still in the hands of Northampton Saints. Ratuna Uruara sends the biggest dummy away to come back and then take a few extra yards. Now they come out the back. Grayson thinks he might have spotted a corner, but Van der Merwe saw that Grayson was eyeing that up and just sunk back 6 or 7 metres to be ready to receive that kick on the full, and that was great awareness from the Canadian international. But it's going to get a bit of return. Grayson runs it up, then looks to send PC away down that right side. Just opening up a little bit momentarily. Mitchell gets it back from PC. That's worked nicely. Mitchell still going. PC on his shoulder, and PC one little jink and then back in field. And Saints trying to piece it all together, but it's right. It's back in the hands of Frisbee. Couldn't quite find the final pass, and now Van der Merwe, he knows one way, straight forward, sets up the ruck. Breathless passage of play. Referee's going to give them all a break by blowing the penalty. Saints not rolling away.
Yeah, there's some tired bodies out there. Titej Van der Merwe did brilliantly on a couple of occasions there. The first time covering the kick in behind. But you see, nice play there. It's a play that I saw a lot last season. Scrum half coming in, passing the ball up and then getting the ball back on the inside. PC again following through. There's a good support line, good tackle. Smith here and Frisbee. We spoke about that secondary effort, that scramble defence. Managed to get back and make the intercept. He didn't have much interest in going quickly from the penalty. I think the lungs were screaming at him off the back of that.
Yeah, it was a gentleman's agreement for both sides there. Oh, that's loose from the Warriors. Player just arrived a little too early for the pass there. That's a semi-check, couldn't take it cleanly. And what was Warriors' possession from the penalty.
I think we're just going to make a change.
Will now be a scrum to Northampton Saints.
They make all the excuses in the world about a slippery ball, but one of the times that you do get it and it's dry is an off-the-top line-out whereby you guarantee your hooker will want a dry ball for his throw. Goes through the second row's hands, down into Nick Frisbee's hands, and Paddy Kelly, I think it was on that occasion, just the ball going through his hands. Unforced error. And again, just one of the frustrations. There's probably been a dozen of those tonight for Glasgow, which will frustrate them. For Dave Rennie, it's about picking out the good stuff and understanding that next week's game away to Connacht is a very, very different prospect to coming down here to Franklin's Gardens.
Crouch!
Change that was made, so Ken PC leave the field again and Tom Collins rejoin us.
Set!
Chilly evening in the stands, could do with a Tom Collins. Penalty against the Warriors. They've been marched back 10 metres there. Grayson has a little word out the back of the hand as to what option he wants. Stage one is going to be to put this into the corner.
That one there was for back chat again, so again, Glasgow have to be wary of this. It's one of the values of the game, obviously.
A few people heading away for an early night. You sense the job here is done by Northampton Saints. Taking on Gloucester at Kingsholm in round one of the Gallagher Premiership. And now it's with Dylan Hartley. He's seen James Fish bag 6 tries in 3 pre-season games, so he fancies being at the back to grab one of his own. But he's going to give it away to Mitchell, who then looks short. Oh, and stepping back inside is James Grayson. And that could be the score that rounds off the evening as far as Northampton Saints are concerned. And given he had to step in so early in the game, he hasn't had the greatest night from the tee, but Grayson hasn't done too badly at pulling the strings from fly half.
He's a tidy player, isn't he? As I saw him at the Under-20s World Championship in France over the summer. He's a really canny operator. Look at the footwork here in order to do Frisbee on the inside. Frisbee turns his shoulders towards the touchline. Grayson sharp off his right foot, taking that ball really flat, diving over to score. And he's had a tidy enough match, given that, as you said, Dan Biggar went down, 3-4 minutes into the match?
Absolutely.
Really early. So a lot being asked of him, but he's stepped up and done well.
Conversion is good. More cheers as the second one goes over.
Here you go again, bursting off the back of the maul, which has been a real strength for Saints. That time it stopped. Mitchell sharp down the blind side from scrum half, and Grayson, nice line. Saints finishing strong as well.
7 tries on the board for the home side. One of those a penalty try. Malander eyed that one up early and came flying forwards, off to Grayson.
Take him back, take him back. It's still alive. Okay. We'll find out, we'll find out. Front man then, please, Saints. Is it 6? 6, yeah? 6 man.
Warriors line out. Can Glasgow finish with a flourish. Get themselves another try on the board. In the middle, it's Greg Peterson. 6'8" of him. Climbs up to get it. Then a momentary little stop in the middle, which almost was enough to send the Northampton Saints defence in one direction, but Vandermover's there. Trying to make a nuisance of himself and add his physicality, but they've lost the ball, and now Collins wants to take it quickly from about 2 metres in front of the mark.
Go over there. Penalties here. Back you go, it's a clear penalty, holding on. He's first man, he's on his feet.
There's a bit of leniency in pre-season, but not that one there. I think Tom Collins ran about 3 metres past the mark, trying to decide whether he was going to take a quick tap or not, and by the time he did, he was almost in Glasgow's half.
Yeah, quite. Malander opts to boot that one down the touchline. Our clock shows about half a minute left. We'll be on Christoph Ridley's watch, which won't be too far away. Hartley goes near the back.
In the gap. This player here, in the gap.
Free kick to Warriors. Frisbee takes that tap.
No hands
Centre
now.
of the park. All of the players lined up on the left-hand side. Easy for Saints to defend. They know which side that one's coming. And they go again. Longer ball that time. Hughes, a nice little sell, and then he's got support on the inside from Frisbee. Hughes needs to reset himself, which he did, but he couldn't take the quick pass that found its way to him.
No advantage. Scrum. No advantage.
Knock on from Warriors will give the Saints the scrum.
They had no right to get a line break down that blind side there. Rory Hughes did well, managed to get it inside to Frisbee. Frisbee just looked for a bit of a miracle ball off the back of it. It's knocked on, and I think this is going to be the last play of the match. I think I heard Christoph Ridley say, and I don't expect Northampton Saints to be attacking from inside their own 22 here.
Bind.
Channel one ball out of play, finish the night off.
Get it in, 9. Don't touch him. Stay there. Wait. Good.
Grayson, Burrell, Malander. Oh, he was just scragged. Really good tackle.
Release, picks it up again. Stay on your feet. Stay up. Stay up.
Nick Grigg
That's
right
fine,
with
balls now,
Malander. You
come
could
out.
see the expression on Malander's face. Right to
Put
get
him
away
down
from this, but I
safely.
don't know that I'm going to. Penalty Saints.
7.
Chance to tap and go again, and they keep it alive. Malander's now lost it forwards. Oh, but then it's loose again. It's not going to be a glory moment for either side at the end. It's going to show a little bit of what can happen towards the end of a season, or towards the end of a pre-season, I should say.
The score, Frankie Scott,
and with the amount of changes made by both sides, it's not been the result that Glasgow Warriors would have wanted, but plenty of people getting out there and getting good combinations going ahead of the start of the season. Your thoughts, Rory Lawson?
Yes, match time under the belt for Glasgow Warriors. Northampton Saints just that little bit more physical, that little bit more clinical when the opportunities came. But for Dave Rennie, he's seen another 30 plus players playing across the last couple of games. He's got a lot of international class still to come back. So for him, it's like going back and preparing for their first Pro 14 game next weekend, which is a huge start to this season for them.
Yes, it certainly is. You can get some reaction on Glasgow Warriors TV. But in the meantime, we will be closing down our live stream here. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found something to enjoy out of the course of the evening in terms of watching the stars of this season in the Guinness Pro 14 and, of course, across European rugby as well. Thanks very much for your company. It's resulted in a win at home for Northampton Saints, but it's been enjoyable to watch nonetheless, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Final score at Franklin's Gardens is Northampton Saints 41, Glasgow Warriors 50.